Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. This is a fun episode. We got Joe Rogan and Jamie getting into it. They get into it a little bit over, of course, a California law that has recently is in the process of being passed. And Joe and Jamie kind of get into it a little bit. And Joe just kind of, he does what he could do. He's the boss. He just kind of ends it. Very interesting stuff here. I don't know what's going on, but I will say again, Joe, Jamie, if whatever you guys are feeling, if you need someone to just step in, give Jamie a little vacation, maybe you guys need to step, you give me a call. I'm close. I'm close. So just let me know. I'm audio video guy all day. Here, let's listen to this and then let's talk about that law a little bit, because what's going on in California, as always, is absolutely ridiculous. Let's get into it.
Atrocities that exists in these pockets that's not being addressed. It's never been healed.
Yeah.
It's never been healed. And there's a convenience in allowing it to stay that way. Like, you can count on them to vote a certain way. If you keep giving them welfare, if you keep giving them food stamps, the people that want that are always the Democrats. So those people are always going to vote Democrat for you. So it's within your best interest to not make them like conservative Republicans or like very disciplined and work real hard and get to the gym at 4:30 before they show up at work at 7 and we're going to kick some and make some fucking money, Wilson. You don't want that. It's convenient because then they'll vote for you every time. As soon as they start making money and realize, like, what is the government spending my fucking taxes on?
That's what changes you immediately.
Changes
the moment you make some money.
Oh, you become a Republican.
Quick. Oh, dude.
Quick.
Yeah, this year.
Hippies that I know became Republicans after they started making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 50% of your money and you're living in you're like, wait, hold on. What?
And they're letting criminals out. You're like, what is happening? Why does my car keep getting broken into? Like, what do you do? Why are there people camped in front of my fucking house?
I gave you 50% of my money.
Yeah, this is crazy. Dylan has a great bit about it, about California offering tax breaks for people that take a homeless person into their house.
Yeah, he's the man, dude.
It's one of the clips that he put up because he's got a new special that's out now.
Yeah.
That he filmed at the mothership. But it's so funny and so true. It's like they're just trying to destroy society. What better way to destroy your house? You have a wife and child. What better way to destroy your house than to bring some fentanyl addict in? This is how you're going to create more chaos. And then California is trying to pass a new law, this is being proposed, where if someone breaks into your house and threatens your life, you're not allowed to shoot them. In your house. Imagine someone breaks into your house and is trying to get you, has a knife coming towards you. You're not allowed to kill him.
What am I allowed to do?
You're supposed to run away. This hasn't passed yet, but
there's no way it can. That doesn't even.
It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's almost like they're trying to destroy people's confidence in law enforcement, confidence in community, the feeling of being safe, ramp up everybody's level of anxiety, and then offer a solution. And the solution is to disarm everybody. The solution is to clamp down further and further on gun laws, make it very difficult to have a gun. You can't have magazines more than 10 rounds. You can't concealed carry. You can't do this. You can't do that. If you have it in your car, you have to have the bullets in the trunk and the pistol's supposed to be locked up. Yeah, there's all these crazy laws that are just slowly but surely trying to take away your... And you could say, no, those laws are to keep people from road rage and shootings, and criminals commit crime. Laws don't stop criminals from breaking laws. Laws keep law-abiding people from protecting themselves. That's the fact. That's the fact. A criminal's going to do it anyway. The gun's illegal. The identification number has been sawed off.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They've also, like you said, they've been driven to that point. If I'm at that point, there is no rule that's going to stop me.
There's no rule. Have you ever seen that show Trafficked? This is an amazing show called Trafficked, and they went down to L.A. and they followed these rogue cops who are bringing guns into Mexico and selling them.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's one of the episodes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Mariana Benzeller. She's amazing. She's been in the podcast a few times. She's brilliant.
And
it's fearless, this lady. She went to Colombia into the jungle where they were making coke and then went with the mules, hiked it out with backpacks full of coke. They had backpacks, and she followed them and hiked it out. They showed her how they make the coke, where they make the coke. Yeah.
Look, they changed the wording on this bill. It
Oh,
appears-
interesting. The bill with this is where it's scratched out. Scratched out part says the bill would eliminate certain circumstances under which homicide is justifiable, including amongst others in defense of a habitation or property. The bill would additionally clarify circumstances in which homicide is not justifiable, including among others when a person uses more force than necessary to defend against a danger.
What does that mean?
That means you shoot a guy more than once.
I got to know he's down.
Right, but you killed him instead of just shooting him. That's what they're saying. But you don't what this bill is like not understanding fight or flight and violence and the chaos of you're realizing your life
Or
is
your
in
family's
great
life.
danger.
What?
You just want to shoot that person.
This is what it says about that part.
Okay, the bill would eliminate that provision. The bill would also specify certain circumstances in which homicide is not justifiable, including when a person was outside their habitation or property and did not retreat when they could have safely done so, when a person used more force than a reasonable person would. So that right there, listen to that. A person was outside their habitation or property and did not retreat when they could have safely done so. Meaning if someone's breaking into your house, you're on the outside of the house, you don't go into the house to confront them. You retreat. You're supposed to retreat.
What if I have family in the house?
That's a good question.
That's
a good question.
This rule already is like, well, this doesn't make sense.
It says it specifies the circumstances, so that might be,
But no, but Jamie, you would do in the context of the sentence. This bill would also specify certain circumstances in which homicide is not justifiable, including when a person was outside their habitation or
understand.
property. But it's not.
If you're outside, it's saying you have to try to retreat.
Right. But what if someone's in your home? That doesn't clarify
There's
that.
circumstances when it still could be. It's just that there's certain circumstances when it's not justifiable. It still could be.
Right, but the certain circumstances is listed, including when a person
I understand.
was outside.
I'm just he brought up a situation.
Jamie, it's
that's not
obvious.
li-
It's obvious.
I'm just saying.
I know, but
I'm reading.
this is not necessary. And did not retreat when they could have safely done so. When a person used more force than a reasonable person, that's so subjective.
You don't know. I don't know. That's not a
What does
real
that mean?
thing.
What
Yeah.
about Tim Kennedy? Is he reasonable?
That's not reasonable.
What about Jocko? Is Jocko reasonable? Yeah.
Arguably, that's
But
why you want a
people
good
have
jury.
to. But people have to keep their cool. What did you say, Jamie?
That's when you want a good jury too.
Good luck.
I'm just saying.
Why would you count on that?
I'm not saying you're counting on it. I'm just
Okay.
saying that's why you want one. I didn't say that's why you need one. I said that's why you want one. Don't you?
If I was a judge, I'd say you're argumentative. However, the bill would specify that homicide is justifiable if the initial aggressor actually and in good faith tried to stop fighting and indicated they wanted to and tried to stop fighting as specified, or in cases of mutual combat, the initial aggressor gave the opponent an opportunity to stop fighting. So if someone starts you up and then gives you an opportunity rather to stop fighting, and you don't, you keep fighting them and kill them. But they've already started fighting with you. They've already, you're in danger zone. Like, to be reasonable while your life is in danger is to open yourself up to getting up. Because it's like, no, come on, man. It was like, bang, motherfucker, and then you're out cold. Like, you've already engaged in violence. It's so subjective whether or not you should stop or not stop. Like, when you should stop is when that person's 100% incapacitated. And that might mean kill them if you don't know what's going to stop them. If you have a gun and someone is charging at you with a fucking machete and you bang, bang, bang while they're still alive and that winds up killing them, you could have just shot them once. You could be in front of a jury and they could say, you could have stopped at the first bullet. And then you have a coroner who says, yes, the first bullet was fatal. Or yes, the first bullet would have stopped him, but he shot him 2 additional times. Like, now you're in jail. Now you're in jail because you were terrified of your life and you thought you were going to die, and you did something in a split moment where you're not even thinking straight. Like, you're to ask an accountant to keep his together like if you ask a Navy SEAL to keep it together, and they're probably like, oh, finally someone broke into my house.
Oh, this
you know?
yeah, but
some guy actually did try to break into Tim Kennedy's house, and he didn't even hurt the guy. He just said, you made a giant mistake. He came out with a gun and got rid of the guy.
That's like those guys who start bar fights with UFC. You see those kind of videos where you're like, oh,
you
brother.
seen the Joe Schilling one, right?
He bumps and he kind of like some like dude's dancing and just being a dick.
Yeah.
And then he gets him at the bar and just pop, pop, pop. It's so quick.
Dude tried to get him to flinch. He like
that. Yeah, he jumped at him.
And he just ding, ding, ding. The wrong dude. You mean that's karma?
Yeah.
That's almost like that. Those things like almost make me feel like we're in a simulation. Like that's supposed to happen in that order. You know, like when someone just hits a level of douchiness and you're supposed to run into Joe Schilling.
Yeah.
That's the perfect karmic response to like a negative and a positive and a thing, you know, like an in and an out. I just feel like we have to be really careful in this country that we don't get more divided by all this fucking political chaos that we're experiencing. We got to be real careful, like as human beings, that we don't fall prey to that. This is not. It's not smart for anybody.
No, dude.
It's not smart, and we're just.
Man, Joe Rogan, Jamie getting into it a little bit there. Jamie is entering his Brian Redban era. I actually, like, anybody who's watched this show for a long time, you hear that and you're like, they're just going at it. Like, that's how Joe and Redban would go at it, but it was like all the time. And Joe would get real heated. Like, young Joe would get real mad at Redban. Young Joe. He was like my age when they first started. But man, I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, Jamie's a leftist. He's a leftist. It seems like it's true, right? But also, you know what this is as well? I don't know if anybody caught this. Douglas Murray was on the podcast for some unknown, ungodly reason. This guy was on the podcast. Absolutely insufferable guest. With Dave Smith. Dave Smith's just on the show 2 weeks before. Too much Dave Smith. But Douglas was like, oh, well, there should be more experts around, and someone should be able to tell you about what you're saying and fact check you, and what's all this? You should be able to get thrown in jail for having an opinion and not being an expert, and all this nonsense that he was talking about. And just a week before that, Sam Harris, maybe 10 days, but like a week before that, Sam Harris says that Joe Rogan should have 2 brilliant journalists sitting in on every conversation, fact-checking him and debating him on the points that he's making while he's having a conversation. And then all of a sudden the next day, they have Rich Voss on, and the guy has like this big Star of David on his chest. He's like, I'm not religious or anything, but I brought this map. And he's like, I had to say it. He's like trying to pretty much check Joe on everything that he said about the whole conflict in the Middle East, which is ridiculous, unnecessary. He's a comedian. He's like a Jim Norton type of comedian. He's not a Dave Smith type. Unnecessary. And now all of a sudden we got Jamie butting heads with Joe a little bit. It's like everybody has this notion that the Joe Rogan experience should have to rise or fall to some standard that everybody else is trying to push on it. And I've been victim of this too. I said, even at the beginning of this little rant, I said too much Dave Smith. It's not up to me. It's up to Joe. And the same goes for everything. Whether there's experts on who he wants to talk to, what he wants to talk about. If he wants to talk about this law in California, it should just stay there. But it almost seems like people around him are giving in to the fact of, oh, there needs to be some kind of standard here. Oh, we have to rise up to some standard, some mainstream television outdated standard that he has to rise to. And they have to be like, well, this law actually says a little, actually, I don't know, man. It's been a long time since I heard Joe talk about Bigfoot. I mean, that's all. I want to know about the last DMT experience. I mean, I just want to hear about Bigfoot. And am I wrong? I just want to hear about that stuff. It's been a long time. I'm just looking for some peak JRE. I'm not looking for this new nonsense where all of a sudden JRE is like a newsroom and it has to be in check. Mark Zuckerberg got rid of fact checkers. That's where we're at in 2025. You're telling me in 2025, we're going to see Mark Zuckerberg get rid of fact checkers and Joe Rogan have his producer step in as a fact checker? No. We're stepping away. Trump's in office. God damn it. Okay? He's back. We're doing away with all this nonsense. Okay? If you want to talk about Bigfoot, you can do that. Pronouns are done. He's back. Do you guys understand? The man is back. I might get a Trump poster right here. Trump picture. So Rogan and Trump. So people understand how far right I am. No, I'm just kidding. Man, but yeah, it's just very interesting. And the thing about that law, just to step away from the whole JRE conversation, but that law, what they're really expecting you to do is to have the skill set of someone like Tim Kennedy, or even, dial it back. He's an ex-Green Beret sniper, all that stuff, UFC champion. They're expecting you to be able to be like a police officer. It's like so many people in California, so many police officers are hamstringed and retiring early that they're running short on police. So they're just like, we need you to actually step up in that regard. So if you do handle somebody, make sure you hit him in the leg. Okay, just neutralize him. If he has a firearm, please just shoot it out of his hand. You should be that skilled. It's like, well, regular people can't do that. How many times have you been in a fight? Everything happens so fast and slow at the same time. Some people just see red. Some people just black out. But you're not going to be able to handle that. Wife, kids, and you're the last line of defense, and if something happens to you, then something unspeakable happens to them. Oh, but I'm just gonna... What? No. It's like, if that happens, it's such a fear. It's a big fear of mine. You have to go all out. You have no choice. But in this law, what's actually happening here is, and I was actually reading about it, they want you to pretty much use the same, what it says here. It says this doctrine allows you to use lethal force against an intruder without the duty retreat, provided there's a reasonable fear, imminent bodily harm or death. However, the use of force must be proportional to the threat. So if he has a knife, you got to get a knife. If he has a firearm, you got to get a firearm. This is crazy. If he has nothing, then you got to go hand to hand. That's insane. Because then it becomes exactly like Joe said. If you now draw on him and he just has his hands, and now you do him in, and maybe you did try to neutralize him. Maybe you were quick thinking enough to go for the leg, but then you hit the artery. The guy, you're in jail. I'll tell you, man, California is just like Canada. That's exactly how it is in Canada. The same exact thing. Oh, man. And you guys think I'm wrong about warning people about Gavin Newsom running for president. Oh, what he'll do. Oh, he'll probably merge with Canada and put the United States under Canada. That's what he would do. That's how bad he is. He wouldn't even take it. He'd just merge. He'd go under. Ridiculous. The whole United States becomes a province. You even know what a province is? You don't want to know. It's gross. Oh, man. So, yeah, they're expecting you to have the reflexes and the quick thinkingness of a police officer that's on the beat. See how that works out. It is very much like California. It's like, I wrote here, what I wrote was Gavin Newsom likes chaos like Trump. But when I say that, Trump, with his negotiatings of the tariffs and everything like that, you could tell Trump really, he works well in chaos. The chaos that came about from the tariffs and everything like that, that's where Trump shines. Trump goes, okay, now nobody knows what to do. The stock market's here. Okay. While all that's happening and people are like, oh, this is, blah, 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 he knows exactly what he's doing. He's cool, calm, collected. He understands. But then when he executes, stock market goes up. It's a surge no one's ever seen. If you invested $15,000, you made $1.2 million. It was nuts, just nuts. And then on top of that, how many countries came to the negotiation table? How much has been made in tariffs already? It's in the hundred billions so far, and that's pretty quick. He did it on what, April 2nd? Then he started pausing them. Then he's rethinking, pause here for 90 days, pause there. But everything's just a negotiation. So it looks like chaos, but the whole time, everything's benefiting America. Even though there's so many people who feel like it's not. Gavin Newsom, on the other hand, he's like the opposite, where his chaos doesn't end in everything going good for everyone. It just gets dramatically worse. From the laws that are passed, the way he handles things, and now he's just a podcaster. He's just doing a podcast. If Ron DeSantis started a podcast, I'd be like, go ahead, Ron. You got it, buddy. You got it all under control. Who you interviewing first? Huh? We gonna see you sit down with Trump? That'd be great. When Gavin Newsom does it, you're like, hey, bro, hey, you don't have time for that. Hey, buddy, hey, you don't have any time to start a podcast right now. And he's like, oh, well, I'm just going to talk to Charlie Kirk. We're just going to have a little back and forth, a little good faith back and forth. No, sir. No, sir. You don't have time at all. Did you find the water yet in your state? Oh, we're working on the water. But first, I'm suing the Trump administration because I want things to go well with China. What? You're back in China? He's... You can't make this up with this guy. It's silly. It's all silly. But yeah, we'll see how that law works out. And then that whole thing with Joe going back and forth with Jamie. I love it. I love it. Not in a malicious way. I like, you like the, in a sense, I know I was just talking smack about the whole thing, but it's fun to see Joe get a little pushback. It's fun to see Joe flex a little bit, shut down something every now and then. He's like, if I was a judge, I'd say you're argumentative. That was the boss way of being like, listen, buddy, you handling that switch back there? You doing your thing? Okay. Well, I'm glad you are. I'm trying to have a conversation here, actually. That's what he used to have to do with Red Band. He used to have to do that all the time with Red Band. Red Band would be like, can I tell you guys about the Olive Garden? And we'd love it. Because Joe would get so mad. He's not playing that game anymore. But, yeah, it was very interesting. I wonder if we'll see more of that. I really do think that, and I've called it out before, and you guys have called it out as well in the clips that I bring you guys, that Jamie does tend to do that from time to time. But I wonder if something more is going to be triggered now that Douglas Murray was on. Because he said there should be more experts, and then they had Rich Voss on, and he has the big thing on his chest, and he's bringing maps, and he's like, look, we're surrounded. And you're like, what is going on? I don't want, and who cares what I want? I just don't want JRE to become some place where people get to stand on their soapbox. I want it to be the place where Joe gets to have the conversations with interesting people. That seems to lead to the best things for him and the audience. But when it comes to the soapbox and, oh, I gotta talk about this, and it's not about your book or something that's been irking you or something funny or something interesting, it's just about a conflict. It's like, oh, man. That's why I don't like seeing Dave Smith too much. Because I know when I see Dave Smith, you're going, Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Yemen, Yemen, Yemen. Okay, all right. Do you hang out in America at all? Are you in America? What do you do in America? Talking about all these other places. That's just me. Anyway, guys, just wanted to bring you all that really quick. Other than that, I am out.